If you could be any emoji, what emoji would you be? Hand clapping.
The tongue one.
The cheese one.
What is happening?
Man, I was very excited to do this podcast. That answer just went so many different directions. No, see, not get into that. Well, let's get into it.
That was a good question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
But it took us a
I
while to
forgot
think about
everyone's
it.
answers.
No, you did the
Someone
cheese
said
one?
money.
I wasn't the money thing, the money face
Oh.
one. Yeah.
Why?
The money face, like the one that has his tongue out with the monies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Oh, that's cute.
I picked mine as that one without the money. But okay, go ahead. What's
That's
your?
a good one.
Why are you that? Because you're attracted to money?
No, I don't know.
Because you're a gold digger?
Yeah.
I mean, you dyed your hair blonde.
What does that have to do with being a gold digger?
I
Gold
dug
boy.
up the gold
Oh.
and put it on my head. Yeah.
Got it. No, but why?
I don't know. I just chose it.
Okay. No, I said which one describes you, or which one are you?
How am I supposed to come up with that in 2 seconds?
What about you? You
I
said
picked the tongue one.
Why?
The same one that he picked, but without the money. Because it's like, it doesn't say that like, ha, I got you, but it also doesn't say like,
It's silly.
it's just like,
Is
like,
it the one with the eyes or just the one with the tongue out?
what's the eyes
There's
one?
one with,
oh
like,
yeah,
the
there's
eye
one that's
closing.
like, there's one that's like, and then
Yeah.
there's one that's, wait,
Just
I have
one
to
eye
describe.
People
closing.
that listening won't be able to.
It's like the one that's like rock on tongue, and then
The
there's one that's just
eye.
like, just
One
normal
eye
eyes.
closed. No, there's one eye closed too.
It's
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
like
I
small
know what you're
eye
talking
and
about.
one big eye.
Not that one.
It's tilted to the side.
Not that one. I like that one, but that's
Yeah.
not me.
Okay.
I like the one that's just like dot tongue.
Okay.
Because just like,
I can see that being you actually.
what did you guys pick? What did you pick?
I chose the hand clapping emoji.
Oh, that is.
You you're like go off, sis.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah.
Clap
That's
between
annoying.
every
That's
single
annoying.
thing.
I don't like
that
that.
I
one.
can hear your voice in that one every time you do it.
And that, and then I also like the smushy face.
What's this? Ew, like the cringy one?
Yeah.
Ew.
I don't know
What's
what
the
that one
smushy
is.
face?
Yeah, I don't know.
The nut one.
What?
What's the nut
The one that's like like
I
I
don't
have to
know.
see these afterwards.
it's one of the new ones that's
It's
just
the
like
smushy
really
face. Hold on.
it's the
just,
cringy face.
It's not cringy. It's just like, man, I messed up.
No,
Oh,
it's
well,
not.
mine was
Okay.
the just the
Ew,
teeth
what?
one. The
This
cheese,
one,
like
my
the.
noonie.
That's
Yeah.
like sick.
That's the
a
nut
little bit.
one.
Ew, I don't like that.
That is the nut one.
See?
That makes me feel like you have
Wait,
diarrhea.
I actually like yours because
What's
Mine's
yours?
like
Cheese?
the one with the teeth, like that one.
The-
With the
Oh,
smile,
this
the
one.
eyes up.
the grin one.
Yeah, because it's like I always say things to like kind of get me in trouble, but then I'll just like put that there.
You're like,
you know?
ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, the one that's the plain face or the one with the eyes? That's
The one
like,
I just
No,
showed.
that one.
Oh.
The
The
one
dots
you're
and
showing.
the-
That one's just like, ooh.
No, it's
No.
not.
It could work either
It
way.
used to be the other one.
It could work either
But then
way.
they changed it when they brought the new one in. That's the smiling one. But I like that one a lot too. It's just like, it's like yikes. But
Yikes. That would.
It's yikes, but also like
Like won't get
it
me
was.
in trouble.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't me.
Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in to an episode of Strange Flavors. My name is Shimmer.
I'm Faraz,
My name is Amber.
and a special guest co-host today. My sister is back.
Hello, back
Hey,
in America.
Noonie.
Neha is here, but I call her Appa.
From Connecticut.
You
Now.
just came
Okay.
back from your honeymoon in Bali. You didn't bring back the coronavirus, did you?
I don't think
Whoa.
so.
Was it there?
Well, I was
Just
telling
don't
Shamir
cough.
earlier. Originally, we were going to go to China. So
Oh.
glad we didn't. So, I'm clean.
Awesome. This is brought to you by Alif Theory. We are on all social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can listen to us everywhere on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. And if you want to see us on video with our beautiful faces, we are on YouTube.
With our emoji faces.
Gang.
Everyone make your emoji face.
Why couldn't make
I did it.
You don't have money.
I did it.
You don't have money to make yours.
Oh, yeah. But I did the
What
tongue.
did you do?
He did the broke one.
He did the broke one.
If you want to send us cool stories or music, you can email
Wait, let
us
me
at
see you make yours.
strangeflavorspodcast@gmail.com.
Ew.
You have diarrhea.
Hey, we're
That's
on our
not diarrhea,
101st
ew.
episode. We are in the next part of our century for this podcast. Thank you for being here in our road to 200. I want to give a shout out to the last giveaway winner, Amol. But first, I want to take that shout out away and say, Amol, you should be listening to more episodes because I called her out and she didn't even know she won.
Okay, but you know what the really sweet part about it was? She didn't want the socks. She didn't want the pillow.
She wanted the poster?
She wanted the
poster.
poster.
She wanted the poster.
You guys
That
wanted
is
that
so-
one
So
to
she
be.
redeemed herself.
So this is why I give the shout out back to Amol, who doesn't even know that we're giving her a shout out because she
But
doesn't
she's probably
listen.
not listening right now.
But that's okay.
So-
you know.
No, it's not. So people, you need to be listening, and for next time, we're definitely gonna have these rules where we're like you have to.
Listen.
Like
To
the
be
first
fair,
one.
To be fair, she didn't listen within the first 2 to 3 days.
No, it was like the first
3 days.
4 or 5. Anyways, Amol, thank you for I don't know, for getting the
Being you
poster.
and
And getting the
poster.
poster. That
Shout out.
was so, like, I did not expect anybody to want the poster.
But if you-
I mean,
so shout out.
she followed the rules technically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
she did. She did. I was team no giving her the gift, but Shimmer and Amber were like, nah, she followed the rules. I was like,
Well,
true.
yeah, I mean, it
But
had
we had a
only
good
been
back
few
and forth.
days.
We had a good back and forth. I was like, she was like, she's like, I was like, yo, Amol, you won, whatever. She was like, no, stop, you capping. And I was like, no, you're capping. You didn't even listen to the episode. And then she was like, I was like, no, you were.
I want to see a picture where she ends up putting the poster. So
That's-
she
yeah,
should
yeah.
send it
Make
in.
sure you send us a picture, even though you're not listening right now.
Yeah, I'll send you a message later and let you know.
talk
But hey,
crap
if you
about
want,
her.
if you want any of the merch that you saw on there, that's always available, including our other Alif Theory merch, which is our awesome fashion brand and which this podcast is sponsored by. Go to aliftheory.com/shop and you can find all of that stuff there and the Strange Flavors things and other merch available on the Redbubble site that is also available through there. Let's talk about this. You want to go get your kids? Go handle them. Okay. I want to start off on this because I think it's important, and I think like it kind of like took over this the last few days. But the tragic death of Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and all the other passengers. I think like it's been really hard and weird because we've been going through social media and like that's all we've
Everywhere,
been seeing
from everyone.
but it's also really nice to see like he really went out with such a great legacy behind him, and the way that people are honoring him and showing their love for him, it is really sad to see, but it's also beautiful at the same time. And rather than kind of continue to talk about the tragic part of that, I want to, as everyone else has been doing, highlight why he was important in my or our lives, in my family. And like since we were little, I think a lot of immigrant families relate to this, which is like Kobe Bryant was that all-star athlete, that legend that like we in my generation that we really looked up to, because we had kind of passed the time of Michael Jordan, but Kobe was like the next closest thing, and it was like incredible watching him.
It was like your introduction to basketball.
Yeah. And so when I was 17, my sister actually for my birthday, and I'm glad you're here, she got me tickets to my first ever sporting event in general, which was a Lakers game where they were playing the Washington Wizards. We saw it in DC, and like I saw Kobe Bryant in person, and that was like, you know, it's so weird seeing people that you admire, especially at a younger age, because you see them as like, you know, these
Unreal
fictional characters almost, like superheroes or something. And to see him in real life was amazing. And you know, my brother had this like crazy love and obsession for him as well. He actually is the one that got me and like all of our friend group into Kobe and the Lakers, and we were like some of the only ones in our town that like, you know, loved the Lakers out of everyone, because LeBron was a huge thing too, but we liked Kobe. And actually we found out the news, Shamir, while you were over. We were sitting there, we were like having fun, and we were like recording a bunch of songs and videos, and it was all like comedy and fun. And my brother was the one that read it.
Yeah, and he was like, no way. And I looked at his phone a little bit and said, Kobe Bryant dies in or helicopter crash. And I was like, no, you're joking.
Yeah, and we immediately, all of us, grabbed our phones and computers, and we were like looking it up, like, is this true? Is this true?
Yeah.
And then the mood just kind of like shifted, and it was weird. It was like
It was strange.
Just
It was like sickening, almost like you
I
felt
think
sick.
gut punching is what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
And even for, and I don't know, Amber, like how much you were into the basketball scene, but for people that didn't know him like that.
I mean, I still knew he was a
We knew-
legendary person,
right,
and
but
I mean
the-
have brothers, but the aspect of the daughter, like finding that out
So
later,
for
really
us,
hit.
It was more of just like how it happened, because I was talking to Frost, and like in our generation, a lot of like the deaths that happen have been around like overdose, suicide, all these things, and this was like
Self-inflicting a lot of times.
and this was just like a really tragic thing, and to just imagine what the family must be going through with now not just losing a husband but also a daughter at the same exact time.
Who's like almost supposedly supposed to take over his legacy in a way.
And then not even really get to say goodbye. Like how they died. Like I don't even know if the bodies are like able to. They make. I don't know. It was just a really, really
But it was
sudden
like
tragic
it was
thing.
it was weird because I think we kind of saw the way that my brother was handling it, and it wasn't like he didn't know what to do. He like changed into his jersey, and then he was like shooting hoops.
Yeah.
And like
He said he cried too.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, I
eyes
think
were
he was
watering.
very
I
off
got
the
that
whole
too.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like it's hard to be able to understand like this relationship between people who don't even know him on that basis, but like that's how a lot of people felt.
Yeah.
And it's hard to cope with that. But no, I mean like it's I think I thought right away of like, the way that he went out for the first time in the NBA, we kind of saw that like this tour started happening of like, okay, this is my send off and this is my last game in each of these stadiums, and he was celebrated in each stadium that he went to, and like the legacy he left behind, the work that he was headed towards, the incredible person that he continued to become, the incredible father and everything. I think that it's really, really tragic, but it definitely gives us all a message that it's just like that is how you want to go. Like everyone is having these stories and this love and feels so upset by this because of losing such an incredible human being and an incredible like husband and father. And that dad girl thing is like so contagious, and I think that's
So
what makes it
cute.
hard too, because like that bond is just different. So
Well,
Sorry, go ahead.
I also just like that's the way you want to leave, but also I've never seen so many people gain perspective, and that tweet that was going viral as far as like leaving your home and coming back is such a underrated blessing.
Yeah.
Underrated, and you need to like tell the people around you that you love them. You just don't know when it's your last day, and just hold them close and appreciate them and forget the fights and whatever you're doing with arguing, and just nothing matters more than like your relationships with each other. So value them, and I thought of everyone that day, and it was just sad.
I think that when in this situation, it was interesting seeing how, because a lot of times you don't see a lot of guys processing things. And so I was
Emotionally, right?
And I saw a lot of them, and I felt like even they were confused about how they were processing it. And I think that from what I'm collecting is that Kobe was seen as like this guy like who didn't flinch. He was like the strong person or whatever. And then to have them leave the world in a way that is kind of like almost unbelievable that somebody so strong can kind of leave. And I think that it just serves as a reminder for us that life is temporary. Like this is not forever. And you're, again, like Neha said, you can leave really at any time. So I saw the way that everybody was emotionally handling with it, and I think it was a lot of things. So there was a very small minority that was like, there are so many more important things, like why are people saying this? But there was so many different aspects to this. There's one, that there's a legendary person. Two, the way it was, again, not self-inflicted. It was something of he was doing as a daily commute so that he could spend more time with his family, so that he could, travel quicker. And then to have that as his aspect, and then the daughter aspect, and then the fact that it's also other families that were also in the plane that were very close to them. There's just so many dynamic sides to this that people were feeling so many things. So it's okay to feel, and in a way it was just very interesting to see guys dealing with this, specifically guys.
Yeah. Well, I want to say I love you guys. I love everybody that listens to this podcast. And if you haven't told somebody that, or you have ties that you want to fix up, you should do that. We also saw the Grammys that same. Was it the next day?
No, it was
Same
same
day.
Same day.
Yeah.
night.
And it was kind of awkward. It started out very weird, but Alicia Keys really did a great job.
Yeah.
She
Pulled it
like,
together really well.
she's awesome. She's like very loving and peaceful.
And the tribute she did said that came about in like minutes.
Yeah,
Oh,
with
wow.
Boyz II Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, she grabbed them.
I feel
and
like she was the
just,
right
like,
person to be in
Perfect
that moment.
person.
For
because
sure.
She's so calm and
Yeah.
collected.
Yeah, it was awesome that she said like this is Kobe, that this is the home that Kobe built, the Staples
Oh my
Center, and we're
God.
in it tonight. That was really powerful. I want to talk about something that happened during the Grammys, and that was like interesting to see. It was Tyler the Creator's Award actually, and the thing about that was like he won the best rap album. And the post interview was really interesting. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but if you listen to Igor, Tyler the Creator's last album, it didn't seem much of a rap album. It was
It's not
actually
at all.
more of a pop album,
Yeah.
or if you want to call it alternative, pop or something. But it definitely was less rap. It was a lot more of that pop style, and he acknowledged that in his post interview after winning. And one of the things that he highlighted was whenever we do anything that's genre bending, and I think he's referring to people of his skin, they always put it in a rap or urban category. And he said that the urban word actually is kind of like the N-word to him. And so he won that, but he was also appreciative of him winning that award. And a lot of people felt the same way, right? Like, I think we discussed that right away. We're like, man, this doesn't deserve best rap album. Like Meek Mill or J. Cole or YBN Cordae, like they easily had amazing rhythm and poetry.
It
in there.
was my favorite album out of those albums,
yeah.
but I was still like,
Not in that category.
not this category.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, like this is not rap.
Yeah.
Like,
But then I saw an interesting tweet which responded to some of this talk about this, and it made me think a little bit. And it says, I think the bigger problem is that if they had put him, Tyler the Creator, in the album of the year category or pop category, and he'd lost both to Billie Eilish, then the discussion/hate would be much bigger. This way, he at least got a Grammy, even if it's not for a complete rap album. And that actually makes me think that the Grammys could have made him win because they think that Tyler deserved an award, but doesn't matter about the award. And Billie Eilish, which I personally think did deserve most of the awards she won, she also deserved that. But I know that this tweet is right.
yeah, because
If Billie Eilish had beat Tyler
Yeah.
the Creator in the pop category, can you imagine the backlash?
Yeah.
That and she was the first person since 1981 to win all 4 major category awards.
Oh, wow.
And when she kept winning, I was like, I feel like this is on purpose. Like, they really want her to be that staple, right? The Academy feels like it's very strategic.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to think. Like
Yeah.
they put certain people in certain categories so that they can have an award.
Yeah.
And not necessarily because it's, in that category.
Also, Tyler's fans, we know they're the craziest. Like, they will, on the internet, wherever in person, they've booed off Drake, like this. They're the craziest. They're the diehard. Check out everyone else in that rap album category. They don't have nearly as close as a harsh, fan base as
Sure.
Tyler the Creator.
Yeah.
So if this tweet is kind of right, like if he was in the pop category, it would be huge.
Yeah, it still kind of sucks because that's not how it should be. It should just be
definitely-
the best people in those
Yeah.
categories should win.
Yeah.
I think one of the only ones that I didn't really like was that Billie Eilish winning Record of the Year over Old Town Road.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Old Town Road was definitely a bigger
yeah.
record. It was like a cultural movement. It was everybody was involved. I don't know if Bad Guy was nearly as close to that, but I don't know. Otherwise, yeah,
I think
that
for
was
like
just interesting.
younger teens and stuff, but definitely
Old
not
Town
for like
Road was like a movement with
Yeah.
like everyone,
it was-
every age.
yeah, across.
Yeah, that should have won. That's
Yeah.
sad.
So you guys know that you can write into us at any moment, whether it be through email, it be on our social media or anything. I wanna read an email that we got recently after posting our 100th episode. This is from Nadra. It says, "Hey, I thought I'd send you an email since I have a lot to say. I'm a small business owner, and at the end of 2019, there were so many times where I just wanted to give up on my dreams. But something changed. I found your guys' podcast. I started binge listening, and I realized that every episode had at least one gem in it that made me want to continue doing what I've dreamed of doing all my life. I'm incredibly motivated to keep going at it with my business because of you guys. Thank you all for being such an inspiration. I've been going through a really rough time as of late, and I appreciate every bit of content that you all put out. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for always putting a smile on my face. You really do help people who feel helpless or sad or confused with the world. Your podcast always keeps me motivated. Anything Ronopono related is a banger. I rewatch Shimmer's vlogs, and they always make me laugh. Ferosti's work ethic is inspiring, and Amber, you're just the happiness we all need. Keep doing what you guys do. Nothing.
Good job,
so
guys.
sweet.
That is the type of love that I'm talking about. That is what I like to hear.
Yo, you're tearing up, bro.
No.
That's the
No,
energy
that's-
for 2020.
That's
Awesome.
incredible. Thank you for writing that in. And I wanted to read it because
Can I just say that's literally the clapping emojis in an email? I'm just saying.
I don't know. I don't think it is.
It is.
That's like yes, girl.
Yeah.
But this is
No.
not the
this
yes
is not
girl.
yes girl energy.
Yeah.
Because
No,
yes
hold
girl
on.
energy is like
clapping isn't always yes girl.
yes girl energy is trying to inspire someone who is like not necessarily deserves that.
That
Anyways.
was a very strong opinion for no reason.
Like oh yes
'cause
girl
it's
you do
Amber
look good
related.
today.
Literally.
Like yes girl you do look good today. Yes girl you can work that dress.
Sorry
All
for-
false like dreams. Like that
False
should not
dreams?
like you should not put
So you should not be.
Okay, after
having
we just
positive
had a
en-
beautiful email talking about love, let's focus on this, guys.
literally
We'll talk about it another time,
maintain
Amber.
your energy, sir.
Listen,
Continue your fight after this podcast, please, children.
Listen, I want to say to people who are going through that sort of similar what?
How are you gonna go from this? to that?
Literally.
You
It's a joke.
Thank you very much for the message. It means a lot.
like the people that are
Thank
going
you so
through
much,
that
Nadra.
that thing of like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this small business, whatever. I think that we are in a lane and a category that it's just like you feel that way a lot, and I think I want to acknowledge that like Shimmer has been doing a really great job in like being honest and truthful about the process, and it's been like giving us some of his like rawest and greatest content, which is awesome. But like, you know, people when they hear about certain dreams that you have and stuff, like they don't necessarily believe in your execution, and the part that they leave out is like the process that's going on in your mind, your faith behind it, and like, you know, your drive, and only you know that, and only you know that it can be done. So like, if you feel that way, like I'm glad that we're able to help you in this sense,
Yeah.
but like always I feel like
it should be in your head.
it should be in your head,
Yeah.
or like whoever you have you're looking at, like
Yeah.
always concentrate on that person and not like the naysayers.
Also, like, whenever we like listen to these podcasts, it's always like success stories. Like we never hear of them going actually through the process. I hope, even though we're a very small process, we're going through our process to, inshallah, whatever, how big we get, whatever. But you're hearing us through our process of the bad times, the good times, etc. And everyone, even at the top, has those good and bad times. But I hope through these podcasts you hear that these people and everyone has
Yeah.
those.
Just
And I-
have good intentions
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
I also want to say it's extremely refreshing currently being at the top of 2020, and having that drive that like we did at the beginning of just like execution and like just hunger. And I
Yeah.
love that. Like Shimmer and I this past weekend just cranked out like literally 3 songs
Yeah.
that we're like, let's go.
So many bangers coming
And we
soon.
just have ideas and stuff, and like we've been keeping Amber in touch with everything, and like we're all super excited to just like have that sort of energy that we had at the beginning of just like, let's just have fun and let's just push and enjoy this thing. And it's been that way so far. So you know, like just stay focused. That's what I gotta say. Like DJ Khaled, he has another son. Congratulations. Last thing I want to hit.
Does anybody know the son's name?
Yeah.
Alam.
Alam.
Oh,
Which
Yeah, that's
means
cute.
world.
Assad and
It
Alam.
means world in Arabic.
oh.
Yeah.
Is it AA?
Mm-hmm.
Just like Assad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
The last thing I want to do, this is kind of funny. I saw this. It says, speaking of the hustle, rapper gets a job at Amazon just to post his mixtape stickers on packages. This was a little news article that I thought was really funny.
So
You guys better start
funny.
applying tomorrow.
That's
Photo stickers.
What do you guys think of
Strange
that?
flavor
so
stickers.
funny.
Smart.
Is that like,
Go
why would you
off.
do that, or like you appreciate that?
I think the hustle is very respected,
Mm-hmm.
but practically, I don't think it will do much.
Is
If
Amazon
you got an
okay
Amazon
with it?
package, well, obviously they're not going to be okay with that. I mean, I don't know, but probably not. Like,
Probably not.
because it's like free advertisement. But
Yeah.
if you received an Amazon package with like check out my mixtape, whatever. And it's like,
I might.
It's
I
like
would,
it's like
personally.
cereal with that toy in it.
Yeah.
You like find, and it's like a surprise toy.
But like I see like Amazon packages, like I got one recently, and it's Dr. Dolittle, like all over the package, and I'm like, I'm not gonna watch this movie, like at all.
because of the Amazon package?
No, but I'm just
Oh,
like,
just like in general.
if
saying
I'm not
it was an
interested,
advertisement.
if I'm not interested, I'm not interested. And
You
most
know
people,
what? But subconsciously, I think like if you saw Dr. Dolittle enough,
Enough.
you would be like, let's
That
just
was
watch
a
this
Trainwreck.
That
When
happens
the
with me
Amy Schumer
sometimes.
movie, even though Amy Schumer's cool, whatever.
No,
but
she's-
like, when she was coming out with that movie Trainwreck, they literally had
Amy Schumer is
it
a yes
plastered
girl type.
everywhere. Well, I mean, I read her book, I enjoyed it, and you know, I enjoy some of her stand up. But literally, that movie was plastered everywhere. Like she was on every show.
It was a good movie, actually.
It was literally a commercial on Instagram, Facebook. That was very. I don't know who was the marketing department, but because of those commercials, like, all right,
You know, she went to my
see this
school?
movie.
Amy Schumer,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. So did YBN
Oh
Corday.
yeah, Towson University.
Oh, I thought you meant high school.
like high school, yeah.
No.
Got college.
My college, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
But no, I think it totally depends on the design for me. Like, if I saw something that was like, no, we all do this.
Amy
I guess I
seems like
might
a
notice a little
Towson
bit more,
girl.
but we all look at something and we're like, what is this? Or like, why is this making me want to check out what this is?
Yeah.
And I saw the mixtape design and it wasn't good. So I would treat it as if it's like, oh, this is a SoundCloud rapper, whatever. Like, it's probably not good. But if it had been good enough for me to be like, yo, like this looks pretty good.
I one time I went to like New York, you know, and they have like those random rappers in the middle, and they're handing out mixtapes,
Yeah.
right? And this one guy was like, "Hey, check out my mixtape," and we're like, my friends and I were like, "Okay, let's check it out." And so we did it for fun,
Yeah.
and it was like a fun experience, you know, because you're kind of like making fun of it,
Yeah.
and it's like not great.
Yeah.
But I might do that with the Amazon package if
You want to hear something funny? So 50 Cent has a house in Connecticut, and Alman's friend like would go towards the house and throw his mixtape in his yard,
Alman's friend
Nuh-uh.
would do that. Oh.
hoping that 50 Cent would come out and like find a mixtape on
That's
his
awesome.
yard.
That's
You
so
never know
great.
what it could be. Like, people rap to Kanye, and then, you know, you have a person like Big Sean who ends up doing it on a flight of stairs, and Kanye's like, yeah, like, hop on board, let's do it.
Yeah.
So you never know what it could be. But for me, it's like, you know how
But
they
if you
say,
got the job just for doing this, I don't know. But if it's like, oh, I want a job and I want to promote my mixtape, that's kind of smart.
yeah, like, do it while
he
you're
needed
doing it.
like he needed the Amazon job, but also he's like, while I'm here, let's just
Yeah,
be,
let's just go
be-
viral.
Yeah, let's just make the most of what we're doing here.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
I mean, regardless, I think
I
it's
want
a
one.
cool idea.
Wait, do you know his name?
No.
Plug him.
If any of us get a
He
job
recorded-
at Amazon, make sure you take the Ronald Pono stickers with you.
I think the part that like kind of makes me not like it as much is that he recorded himself doing it, and then it's like if you had just received it as is, and then maybe it's like more
Okay,
of a
but we
hustle
wouldn't
thing.
know
But
about it then.
no, but then it's just
People
like
naturally
maybe
find
he's
out,
going for
maybe.
like a viral moment or something.
He should start with like Hannah Baker, like "Welcome to your tape" type of thing. That would get my
Who's
attention.
Hannah Baker?
You know, 13 Reasons Why. Like she
Oh, no,
made a
watch
tape
that.
for every single
That's
person.
so funny.
Thanks, Amber.
You're welcome.
I missed you.
I missed you too.
People keep hustling out there. I think that's the lesson today. Keep hustling.
Let's have our own podcast.
As always.
And to transition, which I had like a great transition with the hustle thing, but like she's over here talking. Yes, girl. Like this is yes, girl energy right here. They're just back and forth,
Ross,
just
why are you
just
so
hyping each other up.
mad?
Yes, girl
Why are
energy is
you
false.
so mad?
Okay, listen. I wanna have a real yes girl on the podcast, and a true hustler who is a stranger on the podcast
AKA
today.
us. I'm just kidding.
Guys, can I just introduce?
I
the
love her
stranger?
laugh. That's all I'm gonna say.
Her
Okay.
laugh is beautiful.
The stranger
And
today
hearty.
is the founder of an award-winning nonprofit which helps educate and integrate immigrant communities. She is also a well-traveled executive helping to bridge the gap between cultures and communities. So, without further ado, everyone please welcome LANAEA Featherstone. Are you happy?
I'm happy.
I think we should start off with, first of all, congratulations on everything that you've accomplished so far. I was just like reading your bio and it's like, wow,
It's a lot.
Thank you.
it's a lot.
a lot. You do a lot.
So,
Thank you.
like to start out, you're an award-winning leading nonprofit executive for the William and LANAEA C. Featherstone Foundation. Can you tell us just a little bit about that and what the mission is for that?
Yeah, sure. So my husband and I started the foundation 12 years ago
to create opportunities for underserved communities. And primarily we work with immigrants and those who need to bolster their economic resources.
And it's named after you guys.
Yeah, my husband decided the name, clearly. He picked it.
I mean, that's good. That's if you guys started, I guess that's how it should be. Why did you? I know that you guys work closely with the Latino community. Why the Latino community?
Yeah, so I am passionate about people from diverse cultures. And I've done a lot of traveling, so I've been to about 17 different countries, but my background and my first international country was Spain, and then other Latin American countries, and so that has been a very passionate sweet spot of mine. And then I went on to get my master's degree in Spanish, so I feel like I've been connected with that community for a very long time, and that's how we started working with the Latino community in Baltimore.
What is your and your husband's ethnic background, and why does that? Where does that curiosity for other people's cultures come from?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying my participants always think that I'm from Latin and Central America.
Or Dominican Republic.
Or the Dominican Republic. I get that all the time, that I'm from the DR.
But you're not.
But I'm not. I was born in Baltimore. I'm African American. My husband is African American. That's always the second question. Well, he must be Latino, right? So I think that my passion and curiosity for other people and other cultures is just genuine and sincere. And realizing that when I travel to places, I have been so welcomed and the people have been so friendly. And some of the things that I see on the news just hasn't been my experience. So I think in the simplest of forms, that is why.
So do you speak Spanish fluently?
I do. I speak Spanish fluently. I got a master's degree in Spanish from American University. I had to learn and work my butt off, to learn another language.
Well, when did you start?
Well, honestly, I started in high school. And I hated Spanish in high school. I did.
Oh, like how everybody takes like Spanish or Italian or French or something.
I was forced.
Okay, right.
And for me, I didn't like it because I grew up in Alabama, and the school system for international or understanding languages, it was just taught poorly, right? And there was no context, and it was boring. And my teacher wasn't passionate about it. So how could the students be passionate about it?
A lot of us have that similar experience.
Right.
I don't know about you guys, but for me, it was just like, it was another class, and it wasn't like, well, my teacher was awesome, but it just didn't feel like we're learning another language. It felt like, oh, we're taking tests and we're doing these, forms or whatever. But I didn't feel like I was really learning communication.
That's right. And so I think you're right. Like, it's grammar and forced to take tests and understand how you spell words, but not verbal communication. Also, it wasn't emphasized how important this was with the audiences that you would be speaking with. So eventually in college, I had this amazing teacher from Argentina who was short in stature, and she demanded presence. Like, she was amazing, and she was so powerful and put together and amazing and passionate. And after taking her class, I was like, this is what I want to do.
So it's the teacher that made the difference for you?
It was the teacher that made the difference.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And then I dropped my econ minor and made Spanish my minor.
Oh. Wow. So there's a subtle difference in Spain Spanish and the rest.
Yes, that's true.
The Latino. So do you know the differences, and do you know both? Or
yeah, I mean, I studied Spanish, right?
Yeah.
But when I went to Spain was actually my first study abroad trip, and I hope we can talk about that at some point. And so they do have a very different Spanish, Castellano, right? So I think I can float in both.
Okay.
Chilean Spanish, I can't get. I'm just being honest.
So I actually worked in some of your classes, and I noticed that a lot of people would ask you, why are you doing this?
Yes.
And this, and, what made you start doing the foundation? What made you start the nonprofit? What made you make it your life's work?
Yeah, so that was a gradual progression. In 2006, I received this small $4,000 grant from the LANAEA C Foundation, and it was a grant for individuals. Most times you have to get a grant for an established organization, and this was an exception to the rule. And they believe that if you give people grants with good ideas, they'll make something happen. And so with that $4,000, I started teaching English and also teaching computer literacy to Latino immigrants. And we used my uncle's church. And so we did that for 6 weeks. And then after the program was over, the participants started asking, oh, when's the next one? I want to tell my mother, my brother, my cousin, my uncle, my tío, Right. And I'm like, what? Like, I have a full-time job. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was just a project. And it wasn't until I got married 2 years later that my husband's like, if you really want to have impact and do this on a, sustained way, then you need to create an entity. And so that's when we started thinking about actually creating something.
Where are the communities that you're mostly working with?
So 3 years ago, we actually expanded to all immigrant groups. So we're serving people from Africa, people from Asia. I had my first participant from Iran, which was amazing, a couple from Nepal.
But is this all in Baltimore?
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, in Baltimore. So we're in Baltimore County, like Owings Mills, Dundalk. We're in Baltimore City. So that's geographically where we operate. But we've had participants come from as far as Virginia to take part in our classes.
What's the process of getting people on board with your ideas, getting some of those grants? You received this honors of a governor's citation for improving economic outcomes. What exactly does that mean? How do you go about doing things like that?
Yeah, so essentially that award was recognition for the fact that we are helping diverse communities get jobs. So we created this program called Reaching New Heights that helps bilingual candidates get jobs in the financial services industry. I think one of the things that we were hearing from corporations is that they could not find diverse talent, right? Mm-hmm. Like, where can we find diverse talent? We're looking for them.
Like banks and such, right?
Right. Like, we're looking for them and we can't find them. And so our issue is, hey, we've got a network of individuals that are looking for these amazing opportunities. Like, let us help you help them, right? So we created this program that helps candidates. A lot of things were happening from the employer side is that these amazing candidates weren't getting jobs because of cultural differences, right?
What does that mean?
Example, in Latin and Central America, it is known that you put your photo on your resume. You also put your biographical information, your religion, whether you're married, whether you're single, your age, demographic things, right? And so for an employer...
Wait, real quick, sorry. Do you know why that matters? Like, why would your religion matter if you're applying for a job?
This is cultural. This
Okay.
is what you do. That is the industry standard. Your photo goes on there and all of your demographical information, right?
Okay.
I'm 22, I'm single, I'm a woman, I'm a Christian, whatever. I'm not really 22, but...
Could have fooled me.
And your photo. So anyway, my point is that employers in the U.S., when you see that, it goes in the trash. It's just, that's not what we do. And so what we've done is just help candidates tweak some of the cultural norms to be palatable to employers in the United States. Also, we found that our candidates, even though they might have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, might not put their international education on their resume because they feel like just because they didn't get the degree in the United States, it's not worthy, right? So then employers have a perception that you only have a high school education, and in reality, you've got a master's degree. Sometimes they remove their relevant work experience, like they might have worked in a bank in Mali, for example, but they didn't put it on there. They put Uber driver just because they didn't think that they had legitimate experience in their home country to be put on their resume. Okay. So then they're getting, they're underemployed, right? So they're working in service industry jobs when they should be in a professional industry.
Yeah.
So anyway, so our economic advancement is that we have been able to create opportunities for qualified individuals to get jobs at major institutions in Baltimore City.
And originally I had asked like how you go about getting certain grants and things like that. So what is the process of that, especially for, a nonprofit? How do you, show that you're legit?
So the whole grant application and fundraising process for a nonprofit is complex. Essentially, you have to go online to the corporation's websites, complete an application, talk about your impact, what communities you serve, what value you offer, how you're going to measure that impact, what is the impact of the tangible impact to the service that you're providing. So we're able to show that the participants who came into our program are now earning between $9,000 and $42,000 more just by going through our program. the economic impacts. Like before our program, they didn't have insurance, and now they do. That they're going on to get promotions, which is cool, buy their first houses and cars. But the whole grant application process and getting funding for any idea in itself is work.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you go through college or afterwards when you're applying for anything like that, I noticed that it is just like they're looking for people to be able to fund, and the people that are doing excellent work, in your case, you.
Thank you.
You know, I think that that's awesome that you're able to get that. I want to go back to some of those places that you've traveled. You said you've been to 16 countries. Some of those include Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, France, Guatemala, Jamaica, Mexico, Peru, Spain, Sweden, UAE, and Venezuela. What do you typically learn from the places you go, the people there, and their perception of America?
Wow. Well, first of all, when I travel, I love to get immersed in the culture and learn everything about it and not be in the hotel and do major sightseeing. What have I learned? I learned that people are just amazing everywhere you go. I've learned...
Not everywhere.
Well, everywhere I've gone, the people have
There's
been...
There's definitely
people,
not amazing people some places.
Everywhere I've gone, the experiences
It's all about perception.
I've had have been amazing. And I've met individuals that have really opened my eyes to new things.
Yeah.
I mean, my quick 2-second experience in Spain is that was my first international trip doing a study abroad. I lived with a family. I was probably 17.
Okay.
I begged my parents 3 years to let me go. They kept saying no. And I finally got a chance to go. Like in hindsight, I say, why was I begging my parents to go? Like I was in college, but they were paying for it. Let's just be honest, right?
Right.
But anyway, I lived with a host family, and what happened was my host mother and father, I went to class one day, and I came back to find that my host father had died.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
He had passed away. And so the neighbor came over to bring me the news. And again, at this point, I don't have a master's degree in Spanish. I am still learning Spanish. And she essentially told me, you need to get dressed now. I was just coming back from the gym. And I'm taking you to the funeral parlor. Everybody is there.
Wow.
This is 9 o'clock at night. And so my first reaction is, I don't understand anything you're saying. Like, right? Like, you're speaking to me in another language. I don't speak Spanish. Like, what?
Yeah.
You know, as she's telling me. And so I'm literally like doubting and questioning myself, like, is this real? But sure enough, we went to the funeral parlor. My host mother, who was brokenhearted, had me sit next to her, right? In front of crowds of people who had gathered. And at the same time, she is crying. And in Spanish, she's saying, my daughter, what are we going to do?
To you?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What was your reaction to that?
First of all, I was like shocked that she had children, right? Older children. So that she thought of me in that way. Secondly, I'm like, out of all of your guests in the funeral home, I'm the one, like 2 seats sitting beside you. Again, the body was behind us. So people had to greet us, then go view the body, and then here we were. So then we go back home, and phone is ringing, and I'm fielding calls about this funeral and what's happening in my broken Spanish, the best that I could. And then on the day of the funeral, I went, thousands of people in the church, yet there I am, the only brown person, but yet close enough to her that she felt of value to me. So I think everywhere I've gone, I've had very rich experiences and stories, and the people have been amazing.
If I'm your parents, I'm calling you and being like, LANAEA, I don't want you in this situation. Come home. Did you tell your parents?
Actually, it was the other way around. I called my parents. This is before we had cell phones, but I'm not that old. I was at a pay phone thing where you have to use the card. Right? Do you remember the card that you had to dial, an international card? And I when my mom picked up, I started crying profusely. I remember that call, just gasping for air, like couldn't get it out fast enough. And if you could imagine like what your mom is thinking when you're calling internationally and,
yeah,
she can't, and you're just
probably scared.
sobbing. Exactly. So I'm calling her like, my host father died. He died. You know what I mean?
And she's like, how?
And it was literally, you know, I think for me, just a relief to talk to my mom and my family. But then also realizing like this is their reality, and how can I be of support to this grieving, amazing lady? And that was my experience. The other thing I'll say is that my roommates were actually out of town that weekend on a long weekend. So they were in Mallorca chilling.
So you're the only one having to emotionally and literally deal with all this.
Yeah, and I have to say, I was a student at the University of Salamanca, Universidad de Salamanca, and taking summer classes. And so my teacher, when she got wind that this had occurred, she wanted me to do a presentation about it.
Whoa.
I'm so not joking.
Is she Spanish or is she American?
She was neither. I don't know. I think she was from Bolivia. But I wasn't up for it.
Clearly.
What are you supposed to do?
What was the presentation on?
I don't know, like to explain the funeral and the funeral home and the process and everything. I don't know.
While
That's
in Spain?
serious.
Well,
While I was in Spain, yes.
I mean, technically, you're doing a presentation right now about it. So.
I mean, but I've also grown. Like it wasn't like fresh off, you know?
That's true.
You went to I noticed a lot of these are like Spanish speaking countries. So I was wondering like what their perception usually is of America, or like.
Yeah. So it depends. So when I traveled to Bolivia, people wanted to touch my hair.
Because you're African American?
Yeah, and just like touch me. You know,
Are you real? Because like it's not like not a common sight.
like, you know, just
That's what we heard about like Japan, right? Like they take
touch
pictures
me.
Yeah, different cultures.
No, but specifically like black people, because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we've never seen this,
Yeah,
right? That's the
I think
thing.
so.
Yeah, I think I was a star.
But are they also like a very touchy culture as well?
Well, absolutely, right. So, I mean, of course, very kissy. We double kiss, you know, hug, un abrazo, like, you know, very touchy.
So it's like a affectionate sort of thing. Or
yeah, but I think
appreciation.
it was also at this time like a curiosity,
Okay.
which again, it's fine.
Okay.
When I was in Chile, again, I've been told that things have changed, but when I was there, I was literally the only brown person in Chile. I don't know. It's a very like, you know, I remember going to the mall, and that mall was the most impressive mall I've ever seen, with just the number of stories and the. But when I walked in, I literally saw people coming out of the stores and like the upper levels to look down.
No way.
No way. Way.
That's kind of scary.
The other thing is that I received like a love note from this guy.
Ooh.
I
He's
know.
trying to get that visa.
I don't know, but you know, and so my friend who was with me was like, this has never happened to me. What is this? And like I read it and I couldn't understand. Again, Chilean Spanish, I told you I don't understand. But it read like, you are the dew in the morning on a flower, so
Ooh,
pretty and
that's
stuff.
romantic.
It
Poetic.
was very nice. But so she's reading the note to me. And I'm like, what? So anyway, I think it was just
Are you
the
married at this point or no?
Yeah, no.
Which
what year
one?
was that? Well, no, I can't remember what year it was. I was
Yeah, the
in
poem
Chile.
had you thrown off. Am I married? Am I not?
No, it's not like that.
Were you uncomfortable at the time? Like, was it?
I mean, he just passed me the note. I
No,
didn't know what
but
the
like
note was.
everyone's staring at you in the mall and.
No, I remember saying to my friend, "Oh my goodness, look!" And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Do you see these people?" I mean, I think she thought I was a little paranoid, but I really wasn't. When she looked up, she was like, yeah. So anyway, I've been told that it has changed dramatically.
We
but-
were joking around when you came in here. Was it maybe all of these experiences because you have brown skin, or is it because you look like Michelle Obama?
That's so
Maybe
funny.
they thought like, whoa, what is Michelle doing in our mall?
that's
true.
That could be it too.
I think again,
Was she
like
big back then?
15 years ago.
Oh, this is.
I
okay.
mean, I probably looked 5, right?
Could have been Malia.
I mean, I could have read like right, exactly.
Where were your favorite people from? You have to say this is
Where are my favorite people from?
like from all the places you went to. I'll take a guess.
Okay.
Jamaica.
No.
What?
I think my favorite, I have to say
Why'd you
that...
say it like that?
Well, because, again, my passion is Latin and Central America.
Okay.
Like, that's what I studied, and that's the language that I'm constantly working on. It's just sort of my thing. So I think my first and favorite country is always going to be Spain.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, you have like an emotional attachment to it.
I do. I had flamenco dancers at my wedding.
Wow.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so it's Spain.
That's awesome. I was saying Jamaica because we went there recently, and it was like the people there just seemed like they were so full of life and just
Yes.
like loving and stuff.
Yes.
And maybe it was like a tourist experience. I don't
Yes.
know, but for
Yes.
the most part, that's why I thought so.
Yeah.
You have like a lot of noteworthy accomplishments, as we talked about. For example, you designed programs for Hispanic journalists in the U.S. You organized major international conferences, including an event in Sweden that brought 55 participants from 32 countries. How do you get to organizing that type of event, like especially in a different country?
Yeah,
What does that take?
Well, I think first of all, you just have to understand how to do project management.
Okay.
And so I have a project management certification. At the time when I planned that conference, I don't think I did, but just the ability to organize events and understand people coming from different cultures, what visas they're going to need, what their flight patterns need to be, booking hotels. I mean, it's a very logistical type process.
Yeah.
And being very organized, I think, is one of the keys to making sure that events like that are extremely successful.
How many people do you have on your team that are like organizing?
So that conference was actually me working for another organization.
Okay.
Yeah, at the time.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I think that was in 2006 or 2008.
And what was it about?
It was a conference for media professionals. My bachelor's degree is in broadcast journalism. So I, have...
You could be like on a Spanish speaking
Show.
television
TV show.
Yeah.
Or I was thinking like news anchor, but like sure.
I mean, I think if it's recorded live, then I would want to practice first.
You're doing great
Even
here.
though I've
This
done,
is like
no,
pretty much
I've
live.
done, but I've done some live TV in Spanish. But every time I do it, I'm like, am I really doing this?
Yeah.
In your going back to your classes, do you also do like certifications for your students, or like what are some things that you do for them?
Yeah, so we don't do certifications per se, but we do skills building. So we have a computer literacy class that helps people who speak Spanish use the computer for the first time. The reason why we created the program is that we saw that if the parents are disconnected from the internet, then A, they're not able to help their children academically, and B, they are lacking opportunities to qualified employment prospects. So at the end of the training program, they are producing resumes for the first time, able to go online, able to check their bank balances, attach emails, get professional email addresses. Also, I feel like because technology is changing so quickly, many of our participants think that the email that's on their phone is only on their phone and that they couldn't get it from the computer. Or from the library if that's where they are. And so just really understanding, technology. So that's one of the programs that we do. We also run a financial empowerment conference. And again, people don't get certifications, but they get information and knowledge that they're able to use and apply, like how to start a business for a first time, how to go to college and pay for it, how to get a mortgage, understanding your house, savings, credit, that kind of a thing.
Have you been able to track any sort of records of like where all of this has led and heard back from like success stories or anything?
Absolutely, yes. And we are creating now an alumni network, which I
that's
hope
awesome.
to get off the ground like in a tangible way very soon, because now I feel like we're at a point where I look back, and actually I just got a text from one of my participants that told me that they are now the assistant branch manager for a major financial institution in Baltimore, which
Wow.
I'm like, wow,
That's
like
crazy.
I knew you win, right?
Yeah.
And so now it's like I'm looking back and there are so many people who have their own business cards and just very professional. I mean, I'm going to hope that these participants give me grant money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they're going to be, and they are now in leadership positions for very influential companies. And that to me makes me excited.
Can
But
you name drop some companies?
I don't think I should name drop some companies,
Are
but
you
you can
sure?
look it up on my
Okay.
website.
Because it's impressive.
It is impressive. I am very impressed. I'm very happy.
They probably also want to eventually be able to give back, to help out or I guess guide people who are in the same position that they were once at.
That's right.
So
Exactly.
that network would probably be really helpful.
Exactly. And we have one participant that actually led as our trainer for the first time, our class.
Oh.
And it was really cool to see.
Full circle.
It's full circle.
Yeah.
Also, it's like, yes, they're best positioned to give back to the communities that they represent. I also am very, I don't want to use the word humble enough, but like humble enough to know that I'm not from the communities that we serve. Like, and so
I think for some reason, sometimes that's better.
well, I think that it depends. I do think that it helps for people to see people from their background succeeding, and that genuine image is something they can take away, is that if this person did it, I can do it too.
That, yes, but also like to build that bridge between the Latino community and the American community.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I'm glad that you mentioned that. I in 2020, my goal is to create programs that do just that. And I want to do it in Baltimore City schools because I do feel like we need programs that help people bridge the cultural divide, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, I'm very cognizant. Like, I'm African American working with Latino organizations or other immigrant groups. I feel like the awards that we've run, when they come from Latino organizations, I value those more because I realize that they're stamping an organization that's not run by somebody from their culture. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I do think that it is helpful at this stage that we have programs that help people understand each other's differences, but also see that as a strength. I also feel like at this juncture, if you don't have a global mindset, if you're not culturally attuned, if you're not learning other languages, then by default, you're going to be left behind, and that we're going to have another generation of kids that are left behind if we're not helping them get global education and understand that we're neighbors. And
you talking about Spanish people speaking English or Americans speaking Spanish?
I'm talking about Americans speaking other languages.
Okay.
So you could choose Spanish, but you could choose Arabic, like or Russian or whatever language that you want to. I mean, I try to speak a couple of languages. I only speak Spanish fluently, but I know like 5 words in Arabic, right? Like 5 words in Russian, right? Just things that help you create an affinity to one another, to learn about the other culture. Like last night, what did I have? Palak paneer, right?
No way.
From the men room.
Yes.
Yes. I'm like, once a week I'm there. I mean, like, people know me. But my point is that, if you're starting a business, your customers might be, your e-commerce customers might be from India. You need to understand what globalization is. Like, these aren't big concepts anymore. This is our reality, and we need to be teaching our kids that. So I am working to develop programs now that help kids, American kids, learn about other cultures.
Yeah. Well, we have a term that's used nowadays, allies, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of goes perfectly with what you're saying, is like, we have, when you have people from your own community advocating for you, it's like you're preaching to the choir. And I haven't really seen that in effect till I would see, like, since a young age, I would be preaching about how beautiful Pakistan is, which is where I'm from. Mm-hmm. And, everyone's like, yeah, I mean, of course you're going to say that, like, that's your home, whatever. But I see these YouTubers blowing up now, like just Americans or whatever, white Americans, that'll go there, and they're capturing what, I've seen my whole life. And they're able to relay it to back to, the American communities in a way that, like, it's like a trust almost. Like, hey, that person looks like me. They've been to that country. It's easier. And like I can get mad at that for whatever reason, but that is the reality. And sometimes you need people to be your ally, to communicate with the people that are more, I guess, maybe ignorant, and not necessarily to their fault, but it's just like a trust thing that they have. So,
and I think for me, it's about informing, right? And helping people get informed. So I'm the one that will, if you say, oh yeah, they're Mexican, I'm like, oh, did you know they're from Mexico? Oh, they speak Spanish. Okay, so you know they're from Mexico, or are they from another country? You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's just helping people get informed. And also, I don't know everything, right? So when I have people from different cultures, I ask questions because I want to learn. I also want to make sure that I'm not offending. I just want to genuinely know.
Right. So these same people that may not have, the highest income, might not have proper childcare, might not have the proper resources to even, like a car, to get to these types of events. How do you kind of help them in that process to still ensure that they come?
Yeah, so it depends upon what the program is. I think in terms of our scholarship program, we are selecting kids that are at the top of their game anyway, but that just need an economic boost to go to college, a 4-year institution. And so for that, they've already got the creds, the credentials they need to achieve that. They just need the funds and the support. I think for other programs, we have offered like some stipends or Uber rides or whatever to help people if they need them get there.
Childcare.
Or childcare, right? Thank you. We do that to help.
Don't forget about me.
No, we do. I think it's important to provide childcare because there are so many parents that want to take advantage of opportunities, but if they have to pay money to leave their children with someone else, it's too expensive and costly.
So Amber was like that babysitter.
She was a child care leader. I also feel like our child care is now education and just helping kids get more resources. And
because we would have Girl Scouts come and teach financial literacy to these students. So even though they're the kids and they're just getting childcare, they weren't just in there like tracing triangles on a piece of paper. Like they were actually gaining something out of it while their parents are gaining something out of it.
And that was your role working with her?
I was essentially the teacher for the children, kind of like navigating them through different activities, all that type of stuff.
And these are the children of the students
of the participants, yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. And we've done
next time some uncle asks me to watch their kids, I'm gonna be like, I'm a child care leader. So your kid's about to learn some stuff from me.
We've done science activities and engineering
and
That's
things.
awesome.
That's awesome.
And even 3D printing.
3D printing. I mean, it's just
where
really
do you come
cool.
up with these things to teach these children?
So some of them are through partnerships that we have. Okay. Some of them are just our amazing teachers that are creative and leading these instructional activities.
Awesome.
Also, you mentioned how these students are getting like scholarships and stuff. By the way, shout out, she gets them scholarships, or at least some of them, to my University of Baltimore. So that was really cool.
That's right.
And so I also noticed that throughout the years you've given out laptops, you've given out, a lot of valuable resources to these students. What has been some of like the most heartfelt responses that you've gotten back from one of the students based off of what you've been able to provide them?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like...
And or how did it make you feel?
Oh, well, I think that when I get responses from people, it's just a reminder for why I do, or we do, because it's not me alone, it's a team of people, but why we do what we do. And when I get these, they might be emails or calls, or I see a participant out at their job and they are killing it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? So that to me, I think, how does it make me feel? It gives me a boost of energy. And it reminds me, this is why you make sacrifices, to help other people. And when you see how far they've gone, it's worth it. So for me, it's just a reminder that you've got to keep going, and this is why.
What are your plans for the future with this organization, and something that you might want to leave everybody with?
I think, what do I want to leave everyone with? I want to leave everyone with that it's important that we understand who we are as individuals. It's important that we continue to be bridge builders across all the different lines, economic lines, racial lines, gender lines, just making sure that we are working together. Life is so short. Like, life is so short. It's like you should be helping people, you know, or understanding that we're all neighbors and we're in this together, no matter where we come from. And I think if we start with these little basic things, I don't want to say the world will be a better place, but wouldn't it?
Of course it will.
But wouldn't it? I mean, it just sounds so generic. But anyway, what do I want to leave people with? I want to leave people with, we're working to create more programs that we can help more people. We're working to create programs that help kids learn about global education. And
That's incredible.
it.
Thank you for everything that you're doing. If people want to find more about your foundation or anything else, just go to your website.
Go to a website, or I would say Facebook, at Featherstone FDN. That's the best way to get the most updated content on what we're working for and with.
Awesome. And that will be linked in our description. We ask our guests at the end of every podcast one question. This is Strange Flavors. So Shamir, if you want to ask the last question.
If you could describe yourself in any flavor, what would it be and why?
Flavor of ice cream.
Flavor of anything.
Yeah.
I would say...
You've been to 16 countries. This better be good.
I know, it's going to be so boring.
No. Whatever you feel, whatever you think describes you and why you think.
Yeah, I mean, I think my flavor would maybe be... okay, so I'll change the question. I think I think my color would be yellow, because I love...
No, wait. This is Strange Flavors. This is our podcast.
Oh, right. Okay. It needs to be a flavor.
It has to be a flavor.
Make it something that's yellow.
Yeah, but I don't like lemon like that. I don't... Mangoes.
Banana.
Mangoes.
No. I think my flavor would just be like strawberry.
Okay. Why?
Well, why?
Oh, why? Because it tastes good.
Do you take...
Wait, hold on. We have to make this work. Why are you going to go with yellow?
Oh, so I was going to go with yellow just because I love smiley faces. I love sunshines. I love the smiley emojis. When I grew up in school, they used to call me Smiley. Actually, when I went to college at LSU, they would call me Miss Smiley. Smiley, like the yellow smiley face. I have a couple of them. So that's why I would have said yellow, but I don't.
Right,
I can't say
like
that.
a good amount of dopamine in it.
I don't like sunflower seeds. I'm sorry.
What about
Listen,
a
you got to go
sundae?
with a flavor.
A flavor. So I would say if I chose a flavor, then I would just say maybe red velvet. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite cake. I love red.
Why red velvet?
I'm not understanding
Listen,
the why question.
We've had.
Let's give an
We're on our
example.
101st episode. Every
And
guest has
everybody
been
else
able
has
to do
got
this.
it.
Look, let me give you an example. Okay, I chose my flavor as mint chocolate chip because mint is refreshing. I like to do things that are spontaneous and keep it fresh, but also I like to stick to my roots, which is the chocolate chips.
Sorry.
She's the only one that hasn't gotten it.
This is so deep. My favorite flavor.
No, what flavor would describe you?
You can do it.
Oh wow.
If you're
So the smiley thing, like go off of that. Like
let
what's
me
something
try
that
to-
just like what's a flavor that encapsulates like that feeling of like ketchup. Like
Okay.
oh,
I got it now. I'm good.
I have a feeling
I'm
she
good.
hasn't got it.
No, I'm good. I've
Okay,
got
let's
it.
see. Let's see.
My favorite flavor.
Wrong. It's already wrong.
My favorite flavor is caramel.
Okay.
And I love caramel because
don't think. I mean, I'll let you go, but it's not your favorite flavor. It's what flavor describes you.
Oh God, she messed up.
No. It describes me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when I have caramel. No, for real. It describes me because when I drink caramel lattes, macchiatos, there is joy.
You know what? That works because I was searching for
Right?
something that
Like,
has like
I mean,
that gives you like a
honestly,
boost of
It's joy.
dopamine, sugar,
It's
and
joy.
you said the smiley thing.
It's joy,
And
right?
you think that you are joy. Well, you are.
Well, I
You are
feel
joy.
like I am just a happy person, and I just wake up joyful and grateful. And so I know that when days are tough and I drink a caramel macchiato with extra whipped cream, that it makes me feel like, oh, okay, I'm happy.
this is me.
I'm back.
This is
I'm
my
back.
regular state.
This is, yes. So I would say that, yeah.
That's good.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah.
I'm
great.
joyful about that. I am caramel macchiato about that.
With extra whipped cream.
We did it. We did it. We didn't think that it was going to happen, but we did it. LANAEA, again, besides the last question, I think you're an incredible... Just kidding.
It's fine.
No, seriously, the work that you're doing, it's incredible to hear that there are people like this that exist. And you are changing the world, and that's amazing. And we wish you the best of luck going forward. And if there's anything that we can do to help, we'd love to be a part of that as well.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And for everybody listening, it's been another week.
Another flavor.
A little less stranger.
We'll talk to you next time.
I don't wanna talk, but you fill my void. I don't wanna hear, but you make some noise. I don't wanna feel, but I have no choice.